be making our way down the beach to camp out for a couple nights at one of my favorite spots in the entire world. I'm going to tell you all about it, but first I need to focus on getting Frank there. So we made it here to where we're gonna camp. It's supposed to rain our second night, so I chose being under the tree so we're just a bit less exposed. But yeah, I'm looking forward to spending the rest of today and tomorrow and the next morning here. It is, like I said, my favorite place. I have a lot of stories from this beach I'm gonna share. But first we're just gonna lay around and relax and then figure out how to set up our tent. It's a tent I've had a long time, but I've always used my trekking poles to set it up, and that requires a lot of pegging. But Z-Packs recently gifted me the poles to make it freestanding, so I'm gonna figure that out. We are all set up for the next couple days, and I had to do a couple tent mods. All the equipment came and I brought the instructions and stuff, so that went pretty smoothly. Yeah, and I'm pretty happy to have this tent as a freestanding tent because it is a lot more spacious than the one person that we use. This is a two-person tent. It's what we used all along the PCT and a lot of backpacking leading up to that and since, so it's nice to have it back. Found this teeny tiny little piece of what I believe to be quartz in the sand here. It's shaped like a heart. Are you being a good spotter? I brought you a snack, Frank. This thing. You got it all, bud. Devoured it. There's no more. It's empty. Yeah, buddy. You had a good time. I'm glad you had a good time. We go back to camp now? We go back to camp now. He's had a good day, but this was about as far as he wanted to go today, so it's good to be back here, but I'm not sure if we'll have the opportunity to return while he's able to again, so it's nice to savor it, nice to be here a couple days. Yeah, most of today was just spent lounging in the sun and watching Frank lounge in the sun. Have you gone to bed there, Frank? You're done with it. The day's over. Should I get you a blankie? So just being laying here with Frank, listening to everything, becoming so aware of every little sound. And it reminds me of 14 years ago, I camped down at the other end of the beach by myself, and it was the first time I'd ever camped by myself. Just me, no dog. That was before Frank, in my own tent, down the other end of the beach, no one around. There was like other people camping, not super close, that I didn't know. So as far as I was concerned, I felt very, very alone. And I had camped a lot up until that point, but just never all by myself. Even when I was in my own tent, I would have people around that I knew that I could just call out to. So I was pretty scared. I brought bear spray. I worked at an outdoor store, so I brought bear spray. And I had seen a few bears before, but not a lot. Most of my encounters were along this stretch of coast. And so I laid up awake for quite a while, could not sleep, just laid there listening, scared. Everything sounded terrifying, and I just analyzed every sound. Finally, I fall asleep, and I have this dream where, in the dream, in my tent, the same tent I went to bed in, same place, same time, same everything. I'm dreaming as if I'm awake, but I'm not. It's a dream. And in the dream, I'm laying in my tent, and a bear comes and walks by the tent, and it doesn't do anything. It's not a threat to me. Like, it's literally just walking by. And I get out of the tent and I bear spray it. Like, I just mace it. Like, I was just terrified. So I just got out of the tent and just maced it because it was like existing. The bear was a mom bear. It had a cub, and it was like in so much pain and suffering. And it like said to me like I was no threat. Like, why would you do that now? Like, I'm gonna have a hard time feeding like my cub, and it's gonna be like really hard like a little while. And I felt so bad. I felt so guilty that like I'd caused harm to another being because of my own fears. And then I woke up and I heard something walking away. Like, I mean, I was pretty sure it was a bear. So to me, that dream really felt like a message from the spirit of the bears, that they weren't to fear but to understand, and that would keep everyone safer in the long run, is if I just like learned to understand them and like learned their ways. So as long as I was in black bear country, I never carried bear spray. I didn't own it. I only ended up picking up bear spray because I was in grizzly bear country. So yeah, now here I am, like 14 years later, very confident outside, very capable, very relaxed. Listen to the sounds because I enjoy it, not because I'm scared and analyze everything. And have encountered a lot of bears since, and I'm not worried about it. So at this point in time, I was still believing that the blood in his urine had in fact been caused by UTI because the antibiotics seemed to clear it up. But even believing that it was a UTI was a pretty big wake-up call to his mortality, because he'd never had a UTI. He'd always been very resistant to getting sick. He always healed really fast, and so watching him struggle with the arthritis progressing, having good days and bad days, and some days where he's a little friskier, and low energy days, and just sleeping a lot, just really reminded me that the bulk of our time together is behind us, and it's been beautiful, and it was really nice memories. But on this trip, I pretty quickly made the realization that he probably won't be able to walk far enough down the beach on his own to camp here again together. So we're entering this phase of our life together where there are last moments in places, and so I just really wanted to take it slow and savor him and watch him just enjoy being there. And that's pretty much the mode I've been in ever since, because at the end of the day, he's the most important thing in my life, and there's really nothing I could do that would be more meaningful than just enjoying every last drop of time together. Look who got up for a morning pee-pees all on his own. It's like 7 a.m., Frank. Who are you? So I got my food bag here, and what? Oh man, it's not good. Alright, so this bag of snack mix is the only thing it got. It got into this. I'm sure it got into this. It was chewed open, and the path was like right into the bag. And there was a couple other little bits of plastic, the edges of bags that got chewed, but not into like the food at all. Like no, the hole doesn't go in enough to get the food. So disaster averted, but literally hundreds of nights with this food bag out. It tied at ground level or close to ground, like easily rodent accessible, and they've never gotten in, so I'm pretty impressed. But there are some martins here, which is something I'm not as often around, and I bet they have bigger teeth than mice. Upon re-inspection, my granola has gotten into as well. I'm not going to take a chance with that, although it's really good. I'm sad to lose that one. I really like that granola. So it's just sitting here in my doorway, chilling, which is like what we're doing here. This is really about relaxing, and I do a lot of thinking and processing and like deep feeling when I'm here, so that's usually my intent when I come to this place, which it's not very filmable. But anyways, I was sitting here and this stellar jay came by and squawked at me from the branch, got my attention, went overhead, did a bunch of yelling at me, took a crap on my tent, and then just took off. So I cleaned it up, but Frank's enjoying the sun. And I'm just gonna go back to pondering. You happy to be in out of the wind? Yeah, it was windy and cold, Frank. Well, not that cold, but it was windy out there, bud. It was a nice escape. You can just listen to the waves. Frank, you are looking stylish with your ears like that. What's this, bud? You're so cute. Frank, I have a theory that you love camping extra now that you're old because there's no steps. You can just go from bed to the sun, for a pee, to bed without having to make any steps up or down. A nice soft sand is perfect for you. We'll try to go camping more often, although not always at the beach. So it's about mid-afternoon. It's gotten a little windy out, which doesn't surprise me because it's been perfectly calm and sunny and it's supposed to rain tonight or in the morning. So usually for the weather to change, that means wind brings it. So we're just hiding inside, having a little afternoon lay down. It's also nice in a way to get inside because this is the busiest time on the beach, like mid-afternoon. A lot of people walk by to go to the waterfall that's just over here. And I remember the first time I found this waterfall, it was before Instagram existed, so Insta-famous places weren't a thing. This has definitely become an Insta-famous place, but I was just here for the day with a friend, exploring the beach, you know, scampering around the rocks on either end, all that kind of stuff. And one of the things we commonly did was whenever we saw a creek with low water, we would just walk up it just to see what's there, see around the next bend. Just curious, right? You go down the beach, you want to see what's around the next point, you see some water flowing, you see what's up there. So we head up the creek and it turns out there's a little slot canyon with a waterfall at the back, which is really, really nice, super photogenic. Really cool thing to find. We didn't know existed, we didn't expect it. It was a complete surprise to us. But over the years, it's become very well known. People post the coordinates online and go in search of it. One time, several years ago, I was down the other end of the beach on my, I was passing through backpacking on the trail here, and I came across these guys looking for the waterfall. And they had found coordinates online and they had spent 5 hours looking for it. And they didn't find it because they'd gotten the wrong coordinates. Somebody had put the wrong coordinates as a gag online. But yeah, I'm not sure if I'll actually even go on this trip. It's like 100 meters away. But I've just been there so many times. So I've organized my small assortment of wood right there where I plan to have a fire after sunset if the wind doesn't pick up too much. But now I'm just gonna make Frank dinner and then enjoy the sunset, see how it goes. Hey, buddy. Thanks for coming to see me. So I'm very happy to say there's no evening wind. And I'm going to get a fire going. I think it'll be easy to get going, but how long it will last, I'm not sure because this is not the wood I would plan if I had more options. But this is what I have available, so I'm going to do the best I can. And I think it'll go a lot better than when I was here in the winter and there was tons of wood. but it was all soaking wet, so. But yeah, by this time in the season, all the winter wash up gets picked off by campers, and so the beach is usually pretty empty. And then as the storm season starts up again, more wood gets washed up, and then like spring, late spring, it starts to dry out. And then it all gets burned up. So, but this end of the beach tends to not have quite as much driftwood as some other parts of the beach, but I just really like the acoustics down here. Frank, so now that the fire's toasty, you want to hang out with me? Yeah, it's a very warm fire. I've done an excellent job, Frank. Well, as it turned out, my little bit of sticks went a long way. I didn't even have to use most of them to get the fire going, and then just put some in at the end of the night to like enjoy the bright flames as like the big logs were working their way through. But yeah, I was up very, very late until the wee hours of the morning enjoying my fire and its immense warmth. And then shortly after I got into bed, a little bit of rain started and I slept so well. So we've just been having a really leisurely morning here, watching the tide come in, enjoying the sound of the waves. But it's getting to be mid-afternoon and I got some driving to do today, so unfortunately I gotta pack this up and start making our way back down the beach.